So Ben, thank you for joining us at Demexco. A lot of the debate that I've heard around the floor is about programmatic and a lot of the current challenges we're facing in the industry. A really interesting perspective somebody gave was actually suggesting that we might want to think about going back to what they called a more old school way of doing things like homepage takeovers. And I think what they were talking about was actually, thinking about not just audiences, but the content and the context. I wanted to get your perspective on that. Do you think it's an interesting suggestion?
I mean, ultimately, we're trying to influence consumers. We're trying to drive consumer engagement. We're trying to drive action. And I don't think there's not one answer, right? So we sit there, I think that we think of, sometimes in media, we think of ourselves too binary. We're either going to do this or we're going to do this. And it's not that binary. We're sort of more, we have to think of ourselves as, how do we orchestrate the consumer experience? To sit there and say, we're not going to do programmatic anymore because it doesn't help us drive experiences is the wrong way to think about it, because there are tremendous advantages to programmatic. The same way as the traditional, the old school way of doing homepage takeovers, things like that. That's not the right answer either, because the lack of data and accountability and things like that. So how do we kind of figure out how to sort of fuse those things together and orchestrate the right balance, rather than it's not an and or, it's a how do we orchestrate it all together.
Yeah, and do you think that's because there's been too much reliance on technology, so too many people saying technology can solve all those problems? Do we need to bring some people back into play here?
Technology has offered us some amazing opportunities that we haven't had before. It offers us the ability to be more contextually relevant, to measure success better. It enables us to do a lot of things. So to say we're too technologically driven, I think some people use technology and think of it, I think it's more avoiding using technology as a shiny penny and using technology to cut into, drive what the true value is of being able to measure performance better. So, I mean, there's not too much reliance, but we can't be a slave to it, anyway. We can use it as a tool to help us, how to measure success better.
I couldn't agree more. I think that is the answer. Technology and people together, that's really the way to take this forward.